This here, your roux. This here, the roux she told you not to worry about. They just friends at work. Just carrying about your day, acting like they just friends, and they ain't friends. They ain't friends. Whole time she's wondering, is that roux better? Guess what? She found out. And you found out the hard way. She gone, she took half, and she would have better roux. What you gonna do about that? You need to step up your roux game. That's what you need to do. Now listen here, what you're going to do is you're going to spend a little bit more time, a little bit more finesse, a little bit more elbow grease on the dark roux. And that is going to make all the difference in your gumbo game. And if you ain't got no gumbo game, boy, she going to leave you every single time. Today, I'm teaching you how to make a better roux so you can make a better gumbo. When you get a gumbo that is a dark roux, you get the flavors that you could ain't never gonna get out of this here light roux. Do you understand? You follow this here recipe, and I promise you make your grandma spin in her grave how good this roux is, how good this gumbo is. It's gonna knock your damn socks off, so help me Jesus. I'm gonna be adding a little bit of smoked beef tallow so that we can sear off these chicken thighs. All right, as you can see, the smoke is rising from the pan. The beef tallow is hot enough. Don't want to overcrowd these because you don't want the pan to cool down too much. I'm using a cast iron pan, which holds a lot of heat. We're not cooking this all the way through. What we're gonna be doing is just cooking these to get a nice Maillard reaction on the outside, setting them off to the side, and getting them ready to drop into the gumbo.
Later.
What we're gonna be doing now is we're gonna be making a roux. It's fairly simple. If you've never made a roux, well, you're gonna need to pay attention. You cannot walk away from your roux. You need to have everything that you need for this gumbo ready right now. You cannot be like, oh, I'll circle back to this. It's not gonna work. You need to have your celery, onions, bell peppers, jalapenos. And you know what I don't actually have right now? Is my garlic. All right, so we're gonna be making our roux right now. Fairly simple. All you're gonna do is add some oil, and the oil that I'm gonna be using, because it's very stable and it's very delicious, is beef tallow. If you need to learn how to make beef tallow, check out this link right here. So we're gonna be starting off with about a cup of oil and a cup of flour. And the most important part about a roux, come here, listen. Do not walk away from a roux. Do not do it. The first time I did this, it took me 45 minutes to make a roux into the dark chocolate roux that I'm looking for. Now I can do that in about 15 minutes because I am comfortable doing it on high heat. So you need to take your time. If this is your first roux, if your second roux, if you're comfortable, then you can start to step that up, constantly stirring. Do not let anything settle in the bottom of your pot, because if you do, what's gonna happen is that's going to burn, and then you're gonna have an acrid taste in your gumbo. I'm sorry to tell you, no one's gonna want the acrid taste in their gumbo. We're gonna do about a cup of tallow. 13 cloves. The most efficient way of doing your garlic, smash it. Cup of flour, in. And you constantly stir until you get a chocolate, dark chocolate roux. If you're not comfortable, like it's your first roux, listen to me and listen to me carefully. Do this on low, and you're gonna take a good half hour to 40 minutes, maybe 45, 50 minutes of making a roux. What you want is a dark dark chocolate. You do not want yourself a milk chocolate. All right. Now that you got the color that you want, man, what you're gonna do is add all of your ingredients. So I got me some celery in, onions in, green bell peppers in, jalapenos in. You're gonna need to store this here. Now take all this here in. That's it. All right. Some people put in a light beer. I have since transitioned away from using light beer, and I'm using a full-bodied beer. I'm gonna be using a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Now slowly pour that in here. Stir as you're doing it, and make sure that all the alcohol burns off of this. Now, your beef stock here needs to be warm to hot. You do not want it to be cold because that's going to make your roux separate. You do not want that. Keep on stirring. Keep on stirring. Keep this hot. So all we're going to do here is cut our sausage into little quarters. And what do I mean by quarters? Well, I mean little quarter-shaped sausages. Then you take your sausages, just plop them right in there. See that there? All that chicken that we cooked earlier in this pan, we just gonna go ahead and throw it in there inside of this here gumbo. We'll do a pinch of salt right now, see how this turns out. How much black pepper do you need? How many grinds? 60 grinds of fresh ground black pepper. Now, just stir it a little bit, just stir it. And as this is cooking, take the rest Now we're gonna let this cook here about 2-3 hours, low simmer. And then we're gonna plate it up with some rice. See you in a little bit. All right, so I let the gumbo roll for about 3-4 hours. I adjusted a little bit of salt. I suggest you do the same. It's gonna depend on how salty your stock is and everything else. You do it to taste. I just put in a couple of pinches of kosher salt just to bring up the salinity to where I wanted it. Off camera, I went ahead and I made some rice. All right, without any further ado, let's plate up some of this gumbo and let's have at it. So if you're going for presentation, what I like to do is take my rice, scoop it in here, pack it up real nice and tight. Drop that in there. I'm gonna cut up the chives first. Now usually I use green onions, or grunions, as they're referred to here in the South, grunions. Today I didn't have any grunions, so I got chives. They close enough, they like the little babies of the grunions anyway. Grunions or no grunions, we eating some gumbo. You understand? And make sure you get these nice clumps of chicken and sausage. Get it all the way around your rice. And that is it. That is all there is to it. Now, you take your grunions or your chives. There you go. Just finish her off like that. Yes, sir. And you got yourself a nice bowl of homemade gumbo. Oh my freaking God, am I gonna love this. Before I break into this, I have an extremely funny story to tell you about. A lot of people around here never had gumbo, and I never had gumbo until one day I made it. Shout out to Chef Toops, who taught me how to make gumbo. I think that gumbo is one of the most amazing soups that anybody could ever have. If you've never had it, make it I guarantee you everything that you're about to do is just gonna pay off in dividends in the end. You're gonna absolutely love it. So, getting on to my funny story. After I made gumbo for the first time, I fell in love with it and I thought it was some of the best stuff ever. Truth be told, I've had gumbo from around here and New Orleans. Let me tell you what, a lot of that gumbo was piss poor. Sorry to tell you that. I've only had one gumbo, and I mean this, and I'm not even exaggerating. I've only had one gumbo that was better than the gumbo that I make at home. And I'm not trying to boast, I'm not trying to be braggadocious, although, you know, pretty sweet. I'm talking about the best gumbo I've ever had that beats mine. I was on Frenchman Street, piss poor drunk, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and there was some guy randomly out of the back of a Tahoe slinging gumbo that he had in styrofoam cups inside of a cooler. Best gumbo I've ever had was Tahoe gumbo. He had two different kinds. He had chicken and sausage, and he had a seafood. And I'm telling you, that was the best. Was it the whole atmosphere, being drunk, people partying, and being down some alley? I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with it, but I'm telling you, that shit was fire. If you are the guy that made the Tahoe gumbo, you know who you are, man, hit me up in the comments below. Best gumbo I've ever had. You ain't never been to New Orleans, you need to get your ass down there. It is awesome. It is a party non-stop. Boom, boom, boom. Let's get on to eating some gumbo. Ready? Gotta get that rice on there, some sausage, a little bit of chicken. Oh yeah, yep, yeah. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot. Make sure to go check out my merch right there. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this recipe. If you need to know anything about this, it's always down in the description down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Be sure to check out my other videos right here or right here. Bye.